Everybody being here for the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. Welcome aboard, everybody. So glad to be here before you. This is Lakeisha McKnight, your leadership specialist and wealth mentor. We're definitely going to gradually ease our way into this particular episode on tonight, and it could be a very sensitive topic for many people out there. So I'm just giving you all a heads up, giving you a heads up tonight. So this show, I'm going to give you some background information about the show in just a couple of moments. This is a powerful one, a powerful topic. Matter that we're going to dive into. So what I'm going to be doing right now, before I even dive in, I'm going to set up a watch party, because I do want to inform more and more people that we are indeed live here on the Facebook platform, but not just there. We're also live on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, amongst other places as well. So just really just trying to get this word out there, helping people in a major, major way. So let me go ahead and get it started and also check the audio for this particular watch party. So thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. But yes, we are indeed here and we are live. Good evening, ladies. Here we go. So again, once again, welcome aboard, everyone. The Leadership TKO Live, this night show. We do this show every single evening around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes a little bit before or a little bit after, depending on what the schedule looks like. But the whole purpose of this show really is to empower leaders like yourself with the ability to win from the inside out, growing your influence, your impact, and your income. That is the focus of what we handle here with this particular show, being brought to you by the iLead Company, LLC. So if you need more information about the show, I want to invite you to visit the website, which is www.leadershiptko.com. So go ahead, check out the brand, learn more, and you'll be well on your way. Okay? And so what we've been focusing in on lately has been really educating the home-based business owner, really educating the entrepreneur, which includes you, on how to really become a strong leader within this particular model of being a home-based business owner, and then giving you strategies on how to enhance your business. Tonight, it sort of kind of coincides with that particular information, but we really want to get back to the basis of understanding why education is needed. Okay, if you look at the topic matter at hand, we're going to be talking about invisible poverty. Invisible poverty. And so for those of you, if you're someone who loves to be informed, loves to be educated to help yourself to grow, do a couple of things for me. Number one, love the stream. Number two, of course, interact with the others who are listening and watching in. And then lastly, share this particular stream with many others. You can also start your own watch party as well. So those are a couple of ways to get involved for those of you on the social media platforms here. But let's dive in. Okay, let's dive in. Invisible poverty. Now, we all know and we have this idea of what poverty is. The moment we think about poverty, we think about a certain population of people who are just struggling financially, struggling to get by. You think about that low socioeconomic class of people. That's what we would automatically bring our attention to when we think about poverty. But I want you to understand about this concept called invisible poverty. And this is a concept that was actually brought up by many people who actually admire this young man here, which is Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki, he's the author of a book called Fake, right? Fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets. And he talks about this concept in this particular book. And so I am going to just shed some light. All right. I'm going to shed some light on this particular topic here. And so that is what we're really going to dive into on tonight. I'm going to help you to understand it just a bit more. Because when I found out about this particular concept of invisible poverty, it really shook me up quite a bit. And I said, I have to really get this information out there to you all so you'll really, truly understand how it not only may have impacted my household, but perhaps thousands, countless numbers of households around the world. All right? So here's what we are talking about. We talk about invisible poverty. Okay? And here's what he says. He says, schools teach people to be poor, with a term known as invisible poverty. Invisible poverty. Now, here are the 12 points that I really want to emphasize. Here's what Robert Kiyosaki says about invisible poverty. He says, number one, schools reinforce this concept of invisible poverty by, number one, punishing students for making mistakes. Do you remember that back in school when you made mistakes, and it wasn't that you were purposely doing it, but it was a common mistake, but you got punished for it, right? You got reprimanded for it. Well, this is actually something that coincides and supports invisible poverty, not giving you the opportunity to make mistakes. Because how would you know if something is correct unless you made a mistake? That's how we're able to learn. Point number two, teaching that mistakes make you stupid. Okay, teaching that making a mistake makes you stupid. When in actuality, making a mistake gives you a prime opportunity to learn a lesson. That is exactly what mistakes enables us to do. Learn a lesson. Now, if you're not learning a lesson from your mistakes, then yes, you'll be going around the same mountain many times. But if you're learning a lesson from the mistake, that is valuable. Okay, that's extremely valuable. Here's point number three. Memorizing answers rather than learning by making mistakes. Think about it. All these standardized tests out here that these schools are having students to complete. Let me ask you this question, okay? Especially when it comes to these tests, how many of you actually remember the content, all of the content, from those tests that you had to take in school, where you had to memorize a whole lot of content, but as of right now, today, I'm going to tell you right now, because of the education that I received, and of course, I got a diploma. Of course, I've gone to college and even went to graduate school. Now, if you would have asked me if I know or remember over 60% of the content from all of the educational years that I spent, I can actually tell you no. Absolutely not. Okay? And so they actually train you to memorize content that most of us haven't even used. Okay? So think about that for yourself. Point number four, decreeing that there is only one right answer that the teachers have. Because here's this, we all think differently, okay? And so does it mean necessarily that the teachers are absolutely correct because they tell you that it's correct? Is it just based on their perception, their perspective on something? So think about that for yourself. Okay? Decreeing that there's only one right answer that the teachers have. Now here's point number five. Point number five. Delineating, right? Delineating right versus wrong rather than the concept of three sides to every coin. They tell you what's right versus what's wrong, but here's the deal, okay? There is a different side to every story. Right? There's a different perspective that each person may have. So again, do we have this creative ability to be able to suggest that there's another side of the story? In most cases, no. It's either this or that. So they don't give you the opportunity to be able to think creatively in that sense. Point number six, okay? The 6 points here. Lacking real financial education. We've gone to school, we've gotten diplomas, many of us have gone to receive bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. Now, while you were in school for umpteen years, let me ask you this. Did any of these school systems teach you about money that will be applicable to you living today? That would have helped you to live today, other than adding and subtracting? Did they teach you anything else on really how to go about doing life, managing money, etc., in all of your years of schooling? Think about that for yourself. Did they prepare you for the real life as far as being able to enhance your family, being able to prepare you adequately for that time when you want to enjoy the latter years of your life? I have to honestly say, from my perspective, the answer is absolutely not. How about this? Point number 7. viewing cooperation, or I should say cooperation, as cheating, right? So, for example, if I needed to receive help or wanted to receive help from a classmate, they would consider that to be cheating. Because what were we told? Keep yourself focused on your own work and your work alone. You cannot reach out and request for help. They consider that cheating. Point number 8, taking tests on your own. Okay, so of course they're making it seem as though there's no other way, again, to be interdependent and to reach out for assistance and for help. So again, taking tests on your own. Point number 9, making it unacceptable to ask for help. There are many instances, and I remember this in school, many instances where you couldn't ask for help. Okay, there were some instances in college where they have like the office hours, open door type of policy where you can come and you can ask. But in most instances, it was really hard because if they had to manage a large number of students when you were in college or university, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get the optimal time to spend with the professor. So therefore, you might not have received a whole lot of help. And it really, to some degree, depending on where you are, what school system you're a part of, it may have been deemed to be unacceptable. Here's point number 10. Never saying, I don't know. Okay? And you were taught this. I remember hearing this in school with my teachers. You can't say, I don't know. You have to give them an answer. So in other words, you have to make up an answer or lie, even though you really don't know. And that's the whole point. To be able to say that you don't know means that you're wanting to be educated on it, but yet you're sometimes reprimanded because you say you don't know. How about point number 11? Not helping other people. So there were occasions where you were told that you cannot help someone else. You just had to focus in on your lane and your lane alone. Does it make it right that you can't ask for help, right? Or help someone else? Absolutely not. We should be a part of an interdependent society where you can help someone else. But however, in the educational system, it has been deemed unacceptable. And here's the final point number 12, regarding invisible poverty. Grading on the bell curve. Remember that bell curve? Where there are smart people and stupid people. The bell curve. I remember that. Okay, I remember that. And of course, when hearing about this bell curve, I used to always think that it was totally, totally unfair, the way that they would grade certain tests, right? And then knowing that majority of the class may not have done well, so of course we all stayed in a certain grading average, right? And so they would see that it was just not working. If majority of the class received between a 60 and a 70%, then something is not working, right? Something is not working. And so these particular points help to really re-emphasize invisible poverty in this concept that is really promoted by the school system. And so the biggest point that I want to help you make is, although, yes, you do need education, okay? You do need to understand the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, right? The basics. But how about the need to understanding more about finances, understanding more about building wealth? We have not received this education, a part of this formal educational system, going to elementary school, going to high school, and even for the most part, college, right? College, undergrad, as well as graduate school. Now, depending on what it is you're trying to do in some graduate schools, right? If it's business focused or entrepreneurial focused, they may have added some new elements. But for the most part, understanding truly how to build wealth, you're not going to get that education in a formal setting. Okay? It's created. The formal educational system has been created to produce, to manufacture employees and those who want to be experts who are self-employed. What do we talk about regarding that, right? We said with Robert Kiyosaki's other book called Cash Flow Quadrant, those who are employed and those who are self-employed which is supported by the educational system, keeps you on the left side of the quadrant. What that means is it keeps you being poor, struggling, okay? Chasing after paper. And understand something about paper. Paper is on a decline as far as value is concerned. Paper, according to the creator of the paper, the Federal Reserve System, is actually liabilities. And this is some information that I've gleaned and my eyes were opened up to while seeking financial education. Okay, and myself and many others, we were informed about this, a part of an amazing system that gives us the education that each and every one of us need, including your children. But let me pick up this book one more time because I want to share with you how those of you who are looking for that education, that wealth education, financial education, let me tell you, okay, on the right side of the quadrant is the B quadrant and the I quadrant. The B quadrant will make you rich, right? But the I quadrant will help you to be financially free. So what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish in your life? Do you want to just be rich as having money, or do you want to be financially free? If you want to be financially free and you want to be wealthy, no problems with that, you need to make sure you're a part of a system that's going to help you to have a big business and be a part of the B quadrant. And then also help you to invest where your money is making money for you, where you're working smarter and not harder. You're putting those dollars to work. Every single dollar you get, which is actually a debt note, a promissory note, a Federal Reserve note. Look at the dollar. The next time you have a dollar in here, look at what it says. It's a Federal Reserve note. Okay, so what that simply means is that it's a receipt. You see, back in 1971, it used to be exchangeable for an asset, which made it money at that time because there was a physical asset that it could be exchanged for. Unfortunately, that relationship between the asset and the dollar was broken by former President Richard Nixon. And so all we have now, when you go to work, you're working for receipts. You can no longer get gold by going somewhere, but gold is the asset that I'm referencing. You can't go to a bank, for example, and want to exchange that dollar for gold now. You just can't do it, right? But now there is an e-commerce company that enables you to be able to restore the gold standard back to your home. You're able to be a part of a system that also educates you about finances, educates you about building wealth. And that is what I plugged into with my husband a little over 3 years ago. We plugged into this amazing system. It's educating us daily about what we need to be doing, how we ought to change our way of thinking so that we can think like the wealthy think. And that's what you need. You need to be surrounded by people who are building wealth and doing what the wealthy do and not what they say. If you're surrounded by 9 people, if all you have in your phone are people who are employed or self-employed, then how is that going to help you to build a big business or to become an investor where you can be wealthy as well as achieve financial freedom? You need to be connected to people like myself and like many of the wealth builders that are out there. These are people who are part of a mastermind. And I want to really invite you, if you're watching this on my stream or someone else's timeline, I want to invite you to be a part of a mastermind of people who are building wealth every single day. We are getting access to assets. We can just go into a back office area and get assets for ourselves. And these are assets we can actually pass on to our children because it's a willable part of our estate. So that if something was to happen to me tonight, I know that my children are going to be cared for. My children, and this is another great benefit of this entire wealth system that I'm plugged into in this mastermind. My 2 children, 3 and 7, will never need to work a job simply because of this system that I plugged into a little over 3 years ago. I know many of you have children. I know you also want to have options for your children as well. And I know that you want options for yourself even while you're alive right now. Many of you have that desire to build wealth, to be wealthy, to be financially free. And all you would need to do is to plug into this mastermind for free. Begin to understand the habits that you need to engage in so you can build wealth. So that, as Warren Buffett said, you can begin to make money while you sleep so you don't have to work until you die. Allow these dollars to work hard for you so that you're not working so hard for the rest of your life for money, for those dollars, those debt notes. It's really not money, okay? So for those of you who are watching this tonight, I want to invite you, number one, definitely plug in, learn about this system, and I'm going to share with you how to do it. It's two ways that you can do it tonight. The first way is get back with the person that shared this stream with you. If you're watching this in that group on Facebook, if you're watching this on my timeline, definitely send me a message on Messenger. However, if someone shared this particular video with you tonight, get back with them and let them know that you want more information about this really, really valuable mastermind that's going to teach you about how to build wealth and how to really get access to assets so that you will be able to create a great future, not just for yourself, but for your children as well. So again, I appreciate you. That's option number one. Option number two is that we also have a wealth presentation that's taking place in just a couple of minutes where I'm actually going to do a watch party. You may get a notification from Facebook and you can stay tuned and plugged in to that presentation. Now, this presentation happens every Tuesday and Thursday around 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you have the opportunity to view the presentation and get back with the person that invited you to take a look at it. So again, I want to say thank you so very much on behalf of my entire team with the iLead Company. Thank you so much for viewing this particular episode of the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. So for those of you on Facebook and on the other podcast platforms, thank you so much, everyone. And so until the next time that you and I come together again, I do encourage you to think, to speak, and to live leadership. Good night, everyone, and God bless.